everybody, and welcome to the Helen Winder Show. Today I have Demos Flouri on the line with me, and he's a brand designer. Hi, and welcome.
Hello Helen, how are you?
I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm very, very good, thank you, very good.
Excellent. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, basically as you said, I'm a brand designer. Always had a passion for creation and branding. Always had a passion for art, architecture, basically taking literally nothing and creating something is something I've always had a passion for. Even as a child, I would keep the toilet rolls when the toilet paper had run out, and I'd literally build things, football stadiums, houses, things like that, just from nothing. And I've always been into creation, and I never knew which direction I'd go in, whether it was being an architect or an artist. I just didn't know. It ended up, I sort of fell into branding, fell into graphic design by accident, so to speak.
It's strange, isn't it, how these things, you know, sort of evolve. We have these interests when we're younger, and we don't really know why they're there. And it's only later on, as we develop our sort of tastes, our likes, our passions, that it suddenly, you think, oh, that's where it came from.
Yeah, it sort of it hones in, doesn't it? As you get older, you don't really realise what you're doing when you're younger. You're just sort of doing it, and you don't really realise where it's going to go. And then you go to school and you mix with different people, and your life could take a completely different turn. And it's only when you get a bit older and you think, well, actually, that's what I've always liked, and you sort of go back to it again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We sort of almost have to go through these things, don't we, and evolve to become what we really should be doing. And so long as you don't actually build with toilet rolls today.
Well, it depends what the client asks for. What the client wants, the client gets.
I love it. Love it. Fantastic. So, tell me a little bit about, you know, business life and where you are, where you're going in the future, and who you work with. What sort of people do you like to work with?
That's a very good question, who I like to work with. I think I can be quite picky, to be honest. I really like people who share my mindset in terms of their outlook, their design ability, how they can see nothing and create something. When I'm dealing with other designers, for example, when I'm dealing with developers, sort of maybe web developers, for example, I like them to be similar mindset, efficient, prompt, and very attention to detail. I don't know whether that's just me, whether it's the fact I'm a Virgo. My attention to detail is just ridiculous, to the point of people probably think it's ridiculous. I will notice absolutely anything that's wrong, I will see it.
I'm exactly the same, because I'm a Virgo as well.
Yeah, so you know my pain.
I do. I feel it.
Yeah, I mean, it's some call it OCD. I just call it good sense.
Yes, it's you know, when we're creative, it's something that you will see every little thing.
Exactly. I think maybe that should be a lesson to people in business. If you're going to hire a designer or a brand designer, make sure they're a Virgo first. That should be the first thing you ask them. Yeah. So I think that's something. That's the people I like to work with. I like to share the passions of people who do think like that as well. But at the same time, in business, I don't think, should I say, foolish to think that they know it all. If that makes sense. You don't know it all, and that's the trick. You need to also surround yourself with people who know the things that you don't know. And acknowledging the things that you don't know is the first step towards being successful.
Yeah. So has there been moments in your sort of business life where you sort of thought or felt that you did know it, but you didn't, and how did you handle that? How did you engage with others to help you?
Yeah, definitely I did, and I think many people will. To be honest with you, you sort of, the word, you can get away with yourself sometimes, especially when you're working on your own. You kind of have to teach yourself to know everything, but you never will, and that's a fact. You're never going to know everything. It's, you know, some of the top entrepreneurs in the world, they surround themselves with people in the know. You know, you could be absolutely brilliant at creating a web app, but your weaknesses may lie with how to market the web app, how to design the web app, how to do the market research, how to price it. You know, you don't know. If you surround yourselves with those people who know that, and along with what your knowledge is, then you're going to be onto a winner. That's for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, when you are working on your own, which, you know, we all start there at some point at the beginning, don't we? And actually many continue and grow very successful businesses, but by engaging with others, bringing them in from every different sort of walk of business that a business needs to succeed, you need that, because the knowledge pool just becomes huge, doesn't it, and opens up many doors.
Yes, exactly, definitely, and back to the question you asked before about how, when I knew that I didn't know it all. I think the answer to that was I don't actually know. To be honest, I think just surrounding myself for years, when I was doing a lot of networking prior to with business networks, you start to meet a lot of people, and then I think that's when you start to realise, actually no, I don't know it all. That's when it really probably kicks home, and you probably think, wow, this is, how little do I actually know? Then it really surprises you.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, you sit around the sort of table in these networking events, and you hear what other people are doing, and you think, oh, I didn't realise that. Oh, actually, I could do with that support. I mean, that's really where networking comes in on its own, doesn't it? It sort of opens up so many doors for you, and actually gives you those contacts. It might not be the people in the room at the time who you connect with and actually do business with, but it starts to plant the seed of where you may need some help.
Definitely, 100%. It's not always the room. It's sort of what goes on through the room and outside the room, and what leads onto what. You know, I've met people, and as a result, I've met people. As a result, I've met people, and as a result, met people. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you end up being with that. You know, I think I can cast my mind back to a design agency I was doing some subcontract work for. Well, it must be about 3 years ago now, maybe more, maybe at 4 or 5. Yeah, and I thought to myself, yeah, I'm in here. Yeah, this is really good. But funnily enough, it ends up that they shut down. They shut down the business, and it's suddenly, you know, it's no more. And the person I thought I was doing the work with, but it ended up being another person who was associated with that business, who I'm doing a lot of work with today. So, you know, you think it's going to be person A, but it ends up being person B or C, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's part of growing our network and casting the net. I describe it as a fisherman, you know, in their trawlers, they go out to sea, they cast their net, and they'll bring in those important contacts, but you'll always bring in others that you really never really thought that you'd know or do any business with, but quite often they become the golden nuggets, or the golden, no, what's those big fish that they go for, the blue merlins, is it, or something like that? You know, the ones that are worth absolutely thousands. So you just never know. Now going back to who you like to work with, you know, going forward in your business, how are you planning on the growth, and are you engaging with anybody to help do that, or are you just going with the flow to see how it develops?
No, very good question. You'd think you do need a strategy. You need to know what avenues you're going down. My next step is my rebranding, which I'm going to be doing, which I'm going to be working on, but I'm working on it slowly and carefully. Another thing you learn in business as well is not to rush things. and sometimes things do take time. So I'm going to be rebranding, and I'm going to honing down my niche to what I offer, and just try and stop being to all things to all men, which I've also learned, which is you just can't be done.
Yeah.
It can't be done because you're going to have a pricing strategy and you're going to have an offer, but you're not going to suit every market as a result. It's just not going to happen. So you need to. What I will be doing is honing down on what I'm offering, who am I offering it to, the pricing, and that's where I'm going to be going forward probably over the next 12 months.
Yeah, because it does take a while to put it all into place, doesn't it? And because the other thing you need to do is re-educate people as to who you are in the future, who you're going to be in the future, because they'll know you as you are at the moment. But you've got to think about that transition for everybody else, haven't you?
100%, yeah, definitely, and I'll definitely be working and taking time, and definitely taking time on making it work and making it right.
Great. How have you decided on what your niche is? How did that come about?
That I realised that just a couple of months ago, actually, because I fell into bed with a really good gentleman who really does some good work, and we working together, and I thought to myself, actually, yeah, this is what I want to be offering. This is what we can go do business together. In this industry. Again, a gentleman I met through a person, same thing happened. And I said, and then I also, there's another gentleman who I work with quite closely as well. And I thought, and I realised these two people are absolutely brilliant at what they do. And then I thought to myself, actually, yeah, these are the two areas that I need to be focusing on. Plus, not only that, plus the market's changed.
Yeah.
From when I first started. The market's completely changed. When I first started out just doing websites, for example, is what I was doing at first. Basically just raw websites where things have changed. Where you sort of, when I first started, there was no smartphones.
No.
And that's how that's how long smartphones have been around. Not very long, because I didn't start that long ago. I started in 2007.
Yeah.
So that's how much things have changed. So suddenly for example, we'll go down the website route. A website needs to be compatible with a mobile. It needs to be compatible with a tablet. People want to be able to have more power to operate the website themselves. Pictures, images. They don't want to keep coming back to you and paying high premiums for you to keep changing them. So all these things have tailored the market. So I've had to tailor my niche as a result.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it, how things evolve and do change, and that's the thing in business. We have to have our eye on the ball, and we have to be able to, a little bit like Tesco, and I hate to use that term, that sort of example. They were always 10 steps ahead. They were always thinking ahead, and that's what we have to do in business. Otherwise you become a little bit too comfortable, and everybody else then suddenly starts to overtake.
Yeah, I think you're right, and it's definitely an example of Tesco. I mean, I think they predicted their profits about 5 years too soon as well, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. But to be ahead of the market and to be in the game, you've got to be thinking forward all the time. Deal with the now, but don't become too comfortable. If you want to move forward and you want to progress and grow and things like that, then you have to also be looking straight ahead.
Yeah, and I think touching on that same subject, I think probably words of advice to people as well is, as the markets will always change. They're constantly changing, and you might not be able to see it when you first start out in business, but after a couple of years you see it. But you've also got to be not to be afraid to change as a result. Because if you don't change, if you stay stuck in your ways, you're not going to move any forward. I think, was it Einstein said the definition of madness?
Mm-hmm.
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
That's it. But it's like a dog chasing its tail. It's only ever going to chase its tail in a circle.
Yes.
I was only watching You Being Framed, the other day, but when they just go round and round and round, and they're having a huge amount of fun, but they're not travelling anywhere.
Well, exactly, and which some people might be comfortable with. They'll earn a living, and that's fine. That they're okay with that, and that's great. But then obviously there's different people out there who want to do different things. So if you want to grow with it, you need to be able to adapt to the market.
Well, that's absolutely key, and also keep your eye on others around you.
Yeah, exactly, definitely.
So what ups and downs have you been through? And, in business, which we all do, some big dips and small dips and huge hills and small hills, it doesn't matter what it's been, we all experience them. What sort of, give us a few examples and how you have got through them.
Oh, wow. Okay. I won't dwell on the specific events, but I think I went through a phase, would you believe, growing too quickly. That's not a good thing all the time.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, especially if you're a solo man or woman, if you grow too fast, you find you can't handle the work, and you're taking it on and taking it on, thinking, yeah, this is great, this is really, really good, it's starting to go somewhere. Then suddenly your service will drop.
Yeah.
Your service does drop, and unfortunately, admittedly, I've as a result, people were let down.
Yeah.
And it's not something I'm proud of, believe you me, but it's something that I learned from.
Mm-hmm.
So there was definitely almost a high in that, because it was going well, but then there was also a low, because I'd let people down. And it's one thing I literally hate, is letting people down. There's no one's going to be more disappointed about that than me, and I did, and it was very unfortunate, but I've learned from it, and I brought more people associated with me, so I can handle that. So there's people I can call on if I need. The work's too much, I can call an X person, I can call a Y person, and call a Z person to make sure we're still delivering.
I think that happens to an awful lot of people. I've been there myself. You create this demand, you create this amazing business. Everybody wants you, so they all come forward. They engage. You say yeah, because it's there. Why not? But we forget about, well, hold on a minute, there's only one person here, how am I going to deliver it?
Exactly. It's 100%, especially, and when you're talking about something like design, brand design, it takes a while. To design a logo, for example, it actually does take a long time, which I'm sure some people don't realise. It does take a long time. So if you're trying to do 5 of them, and you've promised every client it's going to be with them in 5 working days, and you're trying to do 5, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You're going to let them down. So you need to associate yourself with people that can help you. You can say, look, call them in. You do 2 of them. They do 1 of them. Call another. Someone else does another one. But as long as their work, also, as long as you're associating yourself with people who are going to do the work up to your standard, or better than your standard, then you're definitely onto a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, what we're saying here is that, you can take on all this work, but first of all, build your network of associates that you know, trust, and have worked with in the past as well, so that they meet your standards, because it's your name at the end of the day that the client knows.
Well, exactly, and you can't sit around and blame them, because it doesn't work like that. And speaking of associates, that was probably another low. Is I have on a couple of occasions associated myself with the wrong people. Trusted them, believed them, saw their work, and thought, yeah, this is good, yeah, and they've completely let me down. Yeah. And as a result, let my client down badly, and my name tarnished again. So it does take time to build up a rapport, working with the right people. You're going to probably, as they say, kiss a few frogs before you find a prince.
Yeah, very true. Absolutely. I think a lot of people will just be tweaking on a few little emotional moments there with people in business, because, it happens. It doesn't matter what walk of life or business that we're in, you are unfortunately going to meet the ones that we learn from.
That's exactly, yeah, spot on. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually. These are people that you're going to learn from. Yeah, I like that. That was good. I'll word it like that next time.
But it's true, you know. But remember, through my experiences myself personally, which, you know, listeners can read about on the website, I've learnt that term because of everything I've been through. I have learnt from it, not just experience, and started again, you know, a number of times. I've learnt from it, and so going forward, you know what to look for, what to apply, and so on.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a message to people, as you said, that it's okay. It's actually okay to sometimes mess up, as
Yep.
long as you learn from it. It's if you don't learn from it, it's where you're going to start coming a cropper.
You just keep repeating it like that dog running in a circle.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. The dog.
What do they do when they've only got little stubby tails?
They've got to bend that little bit more, I suppose.
They have, haven't they? Oh, fantastic! Any sort of top tips that you can give to our listeners?
Yes, there are. First of all, there are a couple of quotes that I love. I absolutely love. The first one was the one I said before, the Einstein quote.
Yeah.
The definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And the other one was from Henry Ford, who said, if you think you can or if you think you can't, you're right. I've always loved that one because I strongly believe in that one because, you know, it's very, very true. If you say you can't, well, then you're not going to do it, are you? Because you've already told yourself that you can't do it. And as you say, if you think you can, well, you're going to at the end of the day. Those are two sayings I like to work with. Another piece of advice that I give people is it's okay. It's okay to fail sometimes. It's all right, as long as you learn from it.
We say that to our kids, don't we? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Do it. Give it a go. If you mess up, don't worry about it. Just learn and move on.
You have to. I think you have to. But not just in business, in any walks of life. You have to, because if you're not messing up sometimes, it basically means you're not trying.
Yeah. And we can't all be perfect.
Well, we can come close. Any joking?
No. Well, I like to think I am. I have my moments.
We're only kidding. We're only kidding.
Well, listen, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a huge pleasure talking to you. And maybe once you've rebranded, come back on the show and let's talk about your journey in the rebranding stage.
Definitely, and thank you very much for having me. It's been very good to talk to you.
And you. And, oh, very quickly, are you on Twitter?
Yes.
What's your Twitter handle?
At Demos Flouri.
Fantastic. So everybody connect with Demos on Twitter, and I'll put all his contact details on the website, which is thehelenwindershow.com, and we'll speak to you very soon. Thanks, Demos.
Thank you.
Bye.